So the issue with academic writing is that sometimes, particularly in the sciences, it can be exceptionally staid and it can be exceptionally boring. And there is this particular formula you need to hold to or to be constrained by in terms of writing a scientific paper. But for the best scientific papers, you read them and they just capture you. The writing is extremely good. I wouldn't quite say it's literature at times, but sometimes it's not far off. It certainly engages the reader and really brings the reader along. And, you know, journals like Science and Nature, for some of their flaws, spend a lot of time in those first few paragraphs. They ask you, put this in context. Make sure that it appeals to a broad audience. Make sure that you capture the reader in the first couple of sentences. So there's this, I teach a fourth year module where we try to go beyond academic writing in the context of just getting the information down and to think about more broadly things like tone and cadence and how that can help to improve your writing. There's this wonderful quote from a guy called Gary Provost, who wrote a book back in the 80s called 100 Ways to Improve Your Writing. And I'm just going to read it out. This might take more than a couple of minutes. This sentence is 5 words. Here are 5 more words. 5-word sentences are fine, but several together are monotonous. Listen to what is happening. The writing is getting boring. The sound of it drones. It's like a stuck record. The ear demands some variety. All 5 words. Now listen. I vary the sentence length and I create music. Music. The writing sings. It has a pleasant rhythm, a lilt, a harmony. I use short sentences and I use sentences of medium length. And sometimes, when I'm certain the reader is rested, I will engage him or her with a sentence of considerable length, a sentence that burns with energy and builds with all the impetus of a crescendo, the roll of the drums, the crash of the cymbals, sounds that say, listen to this, it is important. And the difference there, certainly when we're teaching undergraduates, we're focused in physics on, and quite rightly so, look, get the information across and get it across in as clear and as coherent a fashion as possible. That's very important. But we want them to write for a much broader audience than just fellow scientists. And some of them indeed will go into this. A lot of our students are tending to go into science communication. So that means thinking a lot more carefully about not just what you're writing, but how you're writing. That was a long one.